Hello everyone, and welcome to another Let's Play of The Royal Trap by Hanako Games. Once again, my name is Anna Mardal, and this is a spoilery Let's Play. I've already been through a couple times to the end, and I knew some of the secrets in the game, and I will be talking about them as we go through as it becomes relevant. So if you don't want to know the secrets, you might want to play the game yourself once through, or watch a Let's Play by someone who's going through for the first time. So, with that said, we're going to start Chapter 1 today. We are going through the game, going for the Prince Gaston alliance, because I've seen a couple of the endings, and so far I like his best. And in the prologue, if you'll remember, we came to the castle in the kingdom of Gwenelor, and we've brought our prince protege, that we're a companion for, Oscar, in the hopes that he can get to know the princess here, maybe forge a marriage alliance, or at least gain some experience in interacting with people in public. He went for a walk. We were spying at the ball, and he was getting on very well with the princess. They went off to the sidelines, walking off together. That was the last we saw of them. And then a guard pounded on our room and said that the princess had been kidnapped by Oscar, by our prince. So, intrigue, excitement. So we're going to load up Chapter 1 and the investigation. Now again, the presentation hall is filled with guests and guards, more than before, and far less friendly. I'm sorry, I didn't see anything. It was dark. Oscar has not, in fact, eloped with the princess in a fit of madness. He is here, bruised, dirty, scratched, and alone. According to the guards, he was discovered lying senseless under a rose bush. Of Cassidy, there was no sign. You spirited her into the gardens and out of sight, my little baby. So this is wise Paloma, and in this world building, that's kind of a synonym or an alternate term for queen. So she'd be like Queen Paloma, but she's wise Paloma. She's the king's wisdom. Prince Oscar says, it was her idea. This is a new character, Duke Pherod. Pull yourself together, boy, and speak respectfully. That is Duke Pherod the Disliked. And on first impressions, I cannot say that I am fond of him either. He is a pale man, whose lips draw together in a pinched expression. His clothing, though well tailored, is too somber for the festive occasion that the anniversary was meant to be, and his voice snaps like the switch ill-bred gentlemen wield on their servants. Oscar looks back at the Duke, his lip curling slightly. Then, with a small shake of his head, he draws himself to his full height. I'm going to editorialize here and say that I like Duke Pherod. I like that his epithet is the Disliked, because that just makes me feel bad for him. I like his somber clothes. And his advisor was not actually all bad. But I'll try not to editorialize too much. Her Highness wished to show me the alba roses in the moonlight. She told me that the garden was enclosed on all sides. There did not seem to be any danger. You were not satisfied with monopolizing the princess's public attentions. You wished to press your suit in the shadows. I would never have pressed her into anything. We were looking at the flowers and talking, nothing more. Then I felt a pain in my head. I tried to turn, and something wrapped around my neck. That's all I know. Like any prince, Oscar has been trained in the arts of war, but in his case it is more of an art than a practical defense. He is passable with a sword in the context of a formal duel. With a firearm, he can strike a close-range target so long as neither he nor it is moving. A dishonorable opponent in hand-to-hand could take him down easily. I didn't hurt Cassidy, and I don't know where she is. Please, Don't waste time asking me questions. We have to find her. It is terribly convenient that you were alone, in the dark, out of sight. How fortunate for you that you were completely unharmed by this mysterious assault. What? And of course, when only you are able to find and rescue her, you will claim her hand as your reward. Are you saying that I made all this up? That's mad. They're turning on him. I have to do something. Your Majesties, may I speak? Go ahead. Everyone who saw them knew that Oscar and Cassidy were pleased with each other. Surely of all the princes, he would be the least likely to try such a thing. Are you accusing us of petty jealousy? Of course not, my lord. I'm not accusing anyone of anything. That would be a quick way to make an enemy. I have to be careful what I say. If someone did scheme to kidnap the princess in order to force her into marriage, it probably wouldn't be a man who had a good chance of winning her without it. The benefit would not be worth the risk. A clever way to avoid suspicion. Which, no, it's not. That's like backwards logic. That it's logical to do something illogical because even though people will blame you for it, you can argue that what you did wasn't logical. Bad, Nozagi. Minus 10 points from Ravenclaw. Or whatever. Just saying. A clever way to avoid suspicion. If there's a plot, then someone has something to gain. Something that's worth risking their life to get it. So who benefits? All of a sudden, the king's wisdom goes pale, clutching at her husband's arm for support. I cannot guess what thought has occurred to her, but I must press forward my point while I can. As my lord has suggested, I believe that it is important to locate her enlightened highness as soon as possible, before whoever is behind this has a chance to cause further mischief. Naturally, I cannot tell a king what he must or even should do, but I am a noblewoman's daughter, even if a low-ranked one. It is not improper to make a suggestion, particularly when the credit is placed upon worthier lips. Indeed. His gaze sweeps the room. You will all be escorted to your rooms under guard. I have done nothing. I will not be treated. You are being treated like an honored guest. Your chambers will remain private, and you will remain within them. All of you, including you, Pherod. Your Majesty, I assure you. I want to help with the search. Be quiet, both of you. As far as I am concerned, you are the prime suspects. You will return to your rooms and stay there, and pray that my daughter is found unharmed. Oh, Oscar, you never did learn when it was best to avoid being noticed. As if he's heard my thoughts, he turns to look at me. His eyes search mine, but whatever comfort he was seeking, he does not find it. And then the guards come for us both. This is bad, very bad. If the princess isn't found quickly and word leaks out, all of Guelinor will be in chaos. If she has been kidnapped with the intention of forcing her into marriage, or worse, killed, there hasn't been a true war between civilized lands in a century. The repercussions could bring destruction beyond imagining. And if the blame for such a disaster were placed on Oscar, his family might well give him up, rather than risk open war on his behalf. Even if the matter is resolved peacefully, the scandal could ruin him. It goes without saying that my own fate in such a circumstance would be far worse. Cassidy must be found as soon as possible. The guards escort us to our rooms, but true to the king's word, they do not follow us inside. Within these walls, it would seem, our territory is still sovereign. Of course, I don't intend to remain within that protection. I can't rely on the local palace guard to solve this mystery, not with so much at stake. Therefore, once the door has closed, I begin changing my gloves and shoes into something more appropriate, or at least more suitable for getting around unobserved. You're going out, aren't you? Don't worry, everything will be all right. Wait, don't go yet. Can we talk, please? The look in his eyes is hard to face. Between the letter and the dance and the attack, he must be feeling torn to pieces. I know he's upset, but the fact remains that every minute now could make the difference. So now we get a choice. I said before, and I try to do this in the Let's Plays, I try to pick different things each time as long as it won't mess up the path we're on in order to see lots of different content. I'm going to pick that we'll leave immediately, which I feel bad about because I do have a natural inclination to want to calm him down. He has just been assaulted in the gardens. He's shaken up. His friend is missing, his new friend. I would like to stay and talk with him, but at the same time, I do appreciate Madeline's point that every second counts. So we're going to go ahead and leave immediately. On another playthrough, we'll stay and talk. Probably the one where we're trying to romance Oscar. So, leave immediately. I'm sorry, but every minute counts. I need to go now. And I need to know that you'll stay here and be safe. Cassidy never treated me like an idiot. Which is, just so... I'm gonna admit, I've been through the Oscar romance, and it does sort of kind of feel a little bit like the default ending, because obviously the game is setting you up as having all this history with him. I am not a big Oscar fan, because he's kind of petulant like this. Like, okay, Cassidy never treated you like an idiot. Well, you just met her, like, 2 hours ago. And I'm trying to save both our lives, so sit down in the corner and put on your big boy hat and deal. And I know that's mean of me. I don't mean it that way, but it's just, it seems unfair to throw Cassidy in Madeline's face like this. But he has had a long evening, so. Cassidy never treated me like an idiot. Good for her. Let's hope she's not dead. Ouch. Oops. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that the way it sounded. I'm stressed and nervous and in a hurry, and I didn't mean to snap at him, but I did, and sorry isn't helping. As if I don't have enough problems to deal with. Now he feels awful, and I feel awful for hurting him, and I don't have time to explain myself or comfort him, because I need to ensure that the princess is saved, to protect him and his reputation. I've made my choice, and I'm sticking to it. I have to go. Fine. I can make it up to him later. First, I have to save Cassidy. It will be a simple matter to slip out unseen. Out of a window, that is. The special gloves I'm wearing are designed for gripping surfaces when climbing. They're very useful. I'll go out our window and back in through the next one down. From there, I'll be able to reach the main hallways, and any guards outside our room won't see a thing. Most of the palace staff must be busy with the search. They may not have even bothered to keep our door under watch, but I would rather not run the risk of drawing more suspicion. Which, can I just say, climbing around, she's in a dress, and I have no idea what kind of shoes she's wearing, but they looked like pretty boots. So in the pictures we've seen of her leaping at folks with her awesome 2 daggers. So that seems super hard. I'm impressed that Maddie can climb sheer palace walls with nothing but special gloves. And the upper arm strength. Oh my gosh. Just saying. After my previous explorations, I know that the service halls are filled with convenient peepholes, and that seems the best way to get around, while keeping an eye out for anyone who might think I ought to have remained in my room. Too well known and easily accessed for anything truly secret, but good for a start. Fortune smiles on my investigations. I can hear the king's voice. I apologize if I keep sniffing in y'all's ear. I think I'm coming down with a bit of a cold. I hug the wall, holding my breath as I peer through a crack to better hear what he's saying. In her pocket, who knows how long she might have been planning this. I thought once she finally allowed Sophia to marry that it would be over. So many years and everything we've given her. Your sister will never be satisfied. The Wisdom's sister? A younger sister it must be, since she was not the heir. Do you think Sophia would really hand over control of her baby daughter to her mother? You believed Sophia was nothing but Marie's puppet. Wasn't that why we started all this? That was a long time ago. She's her own woman now. As her own woman, she might have planned this herself without the Grandessa. Now that Riel is born, she is the heir presumptive if Cassidy is displaced. No one would support a murderer's child. If it were, and if it could be proven, the truth would be enough. There's been no sign, not even a whisper. No one knew. There was no whisper of this, but it happened. There is the possibility that someone has discovered the truth about Caspian and Cassidy. No! What will happen to her? What will happen to us? He takes her arm and guides her along. So, that was kind of, what? The wisdom of Guelenor, the woman we just saw, is Paloma. The woman they talked about, Marie, is, I think, her sister. Sophia is Duke Pherod's wife, who is not here for this game. And so I believe that would make her, if Marie and Paloma are sisters, then Sophia is her niece. And Sophia and Pherod just had a baby, which was that Riel. Because of the way inheritance laws work in this country, in this world setting, Cassidy is the princess presumptive, and then if anything happens to her, the line of succession goes to this new baby, Riel. Clear as mud, right? But that's what we were just seeing and talking about. So there's lots of intrigue and speculation and politics going on. I will keep looking, and you will make use of your wisdom to plan. After that, they pass from my hearing, and I lean back to consider what I've heard. And I'm going to pause here and take a drink. And I'm back. Sorry about that. After that, they pass from my hearing, and I lean back to consider what I've heard. Grandessa Marie, sister to the king's wisdom. Oh, there we go. I explained too soon. Her daughter would be Duchess Sophia, Princess Cassidy's cousin, and the next in line to inherit the wisdom, except that she's now the daughter of Duke Pherod with an infant daughter. She's now the wife of Duke Pherod with an infant daughter. If Cassidy is dead, that baby is the new princess. The king's wisdom is surely too old for more children of her own. The question I asked earlier, who benefits if mischance befalls Princess Cassidy? Duke Pherod would be the father of the heiress, the regent if the current king did not live until Riel's wedding. No wonder they consider him a suspect. But what did they mean, the truth about Caspian and Cassidy? As far as I know, Prince Caspian died when he was little more than a toddler, and Cassidy a babe in arms. That ill-mannered page suggested there have been rumors that the princess succumbed to the same fever that took her brother, and was then replaced by an impostor. She also said those rumors are nonsense, and everyone of rank knows it. Certainly, Princess Cassidy bears a resemblance to her illuminated mother. That in itself means little, though. Similarities between people are common, particularly within the noble classes, where so many relatives are shared. However, if the blood heiress had been replaced at such a tender age, it would have been impossible to predict who the impostor might grow to resemble. What other secret could there be? That Caspian and Cassidy were sired by someone other than the king? While it could be personally embarrassing, it would make no difference to Cassidy's right of inheritance. She would still be the daughter of the wisdom. Well, it matters little what secrets she holds, so long as Cassidy is missing. I must keep looking. After some time, picking my way carefully through the darkened service quarters, I begin to wonder if I've made a mistake. I was right, of course, that the official guards would not be capable of a thorough search. Only once that I've seen have they bothered to enter these passages, and that so briefly that it was easily within my capabilities to stay out of sight. Perhaps they have focused their efforts on blocking exits from the palace. Not an unreasonable approach, but the fact remains that there are 1,000 places they have not investigated. These corridors may be out of sight of the guards and the nobles who observe propriety, but they are hardly secret. Any servant with a bucket of coal, or filthy washwater, or similar undecorous tasks would be expected to use these halls to avoid the risk of dirtying the fine carpets, and I have passed a few such already in my wanderings. None of them have questioned my presence at all. In fact, they have been eager to share the garbled gossip of how the search is progressing, all of which is mostly useless. If someone tells me that she heard from a butler, who heard it from a maid, that a guard saw a suspicious figure by the morning music chamber, well, even if that was accurate when it was first heard, and even if it hadn't been altered by passing through so many mouths, it's old news by now. And of course, knowing where the guards have searched still doesn't mean that I can rule those places out. Any child knows that one of the best places to hide a stolen toy is in a location that has already been thoroughly searched. I'm going in circles and getting nowhere. I don't know what to do next. I can't give up now. What I need is information, motives, methods. If Cassidy arranged her own disappearance, where might she have gone to hide? If it was someone else, where might they have put her? What contacts do they have? What do they know? Just running around loose on my own isn't likely to make a difference, but I don't have any connections here. Except that one. You're not supposed to be here. Yes, I am. No, you're not. You and your prince are supposed to be in your rooms. I can't rate her for manners, but she apparently has the advantage on many of the palace staff in terms of intelligence. Not that it's stopping the others. The others? Well, you don't expect a great lord to stay still on the say-so of a nobody guard, do you? Those that are born that way know who makes their rules. Of course. Wonderful. If Oscar is the only suspect staying put, that'll make things even more confusing. Wait, does that mean their rooms are empty? Could be. You want to get into those rooms, don't you? Spying again? I tap the side of my nose with my finger meaningfully. I would never violate the privacy of honored guests. So you don't want to? Well, never mind then. I take back my earlier assessment. She may be observant in some ways, but she certainly didn't invent gunpowder. Yes, I would like to have a look, if I can get in without being seen. A nearby window, or a service door, or a large chimney, if you know the way? Or the keys. You have the keys to those rooms? Maybe I do. What's there for me? Look, what's your name? Dolores, miss. Dolores, I am trying to find your princess and prevent a civil war or worse. I am not doing this to gain anything for myself. Well, good for you, lady whatever, but that's nothing to me. I sigh. What do you want? Coin? I'm not carrying a large purse. Large or small, it's more than I have. Fine. I reach through the slit in my clothes and fetch out 3 silver ducats, which she accepts without argument. Thank you, miss. With the bribe safely stowed, her smile takes on a harder quality. Whose room do you want? Only one? I can't wait around for you while you search. Too many eyes. I suppose that makes sense, but with so much riding on my decisions, how can I choose? Of course, Dolores is a lower servant, nearly invisible to the eyes of the mighty, and she notices things. Can you tell me a little bit about the other guests? I don't have all night. We have to hurry. She seizes my arm and starts to pull me along, keeping up her rapid monologue in an undertone. The Duke and his bunch won't even let the chambermaids in to air their rooms. Don't know if it's territory or if they've got something in there. The pale fellow, nobody wants to do his room, 'cause he's got all these bottles like a pharmacist. And who wants their fingers to rot off from poisons and curses? And the glittery one smells. It's true. But she drops her voice even further to a whisper. I heard it from a junior scullion that someone saw a girl who looked like the princess in his room once. Can't tell you that it's true, only that I heard it. So, which room do you want to see? So now we get a choice, and I'm going to pick Prince Gaston, because I said we were going for the Prince Gaston ending, and so we're going to go visit him. Fine. Now let's get moving, and whatever you do, don't tell anyone I helped you. The page leads me to Prince Gaston's room, where she unlocks the door and holds it open for me to slip quietly inside. Then, her purpose served, she leaves me to my task. There tends to be a certain similarity to these guest quarters. After all, there is no way to know who might be residing within them at any time. This set of rooms, however, stands out for one particular reason: the smell. It is not the scent of an unwashed man. I have encountered dirt and sweat before, even if I prefer to keep them at a distance. This is different. Too complex to categorize all at once. A hint of spice, a drift of smoked herbs, the breath of powder, and something animalistic beneath it all. Musk, that's what it's called. The Prince of Bardowin brought perfume as his offering to Cassidy, but it would seem that he retains a large amount of it for himself. Or else what little he does use is so powerful that only a hint of it is enough to imbue the walls and furnishings with lingering reminders. No wonder the steward wouldn't let Cassidy open Gaston's gift. The princess, is she here? Was she before? No one in the front room, of course, but the bed-chamber is beyond, and dangerous to burst in on unawares. I ease along the wall, silent as a fish. In our brief encounters, Gaston has not given the impression of a man who enjoys quiet. I suspect he is not here. But between one footfall and the next, I hear a quiet cough. At a guess, it sounds like a woman. Cassidy, are you here? Oh! There's a bit of clatter, as of a chair banging against a wall. Sorry, monsieur. I'll be right there. Sir? The door opens, and a young woman steps out, wearing a maid's uniform. Our eyes meet, neither of us seeing the person we expected. I'm sorry! She tries to hide the item in her hands behind her back, but she's not fast enough to stop me from catching a glimpse of hair. Hair the same color and style as that of Princess Cassidy. Is that a wig? You have the wrong room. You shouldn't be here. I'm looking for the princess. Don't you know she's missing? Yes, but she's not here. No one is here. Ignoring her words, I push my way past and peer into the bedroom. Hanging lamp, heaps of discarded clothing, pots of cosmetic pastes, scattered cushions. No princess. Just in case, I call out, Cassidy? Please, you have to leave. Look at me. I'm not leaving until you tell me what's going on. Your master is up to something, isn't he? No! You've got a wig made to look like Cassidy. Were you supposed to draw off pursuit? Where is Prince Gaston? Oh, she's crying. She shakes her head and doesn't answer me. I can help you. As long as we find the princess alive, you'll be all right. The king will reward you, or Oscar's father will if it's needed. You'll have a new job, a new home. I don't actually have the authority to make those promises, of course, but it doesn't matter at the moment. No, no, it's not like that. At a sound from the hallway beyond, she stiffens, letting the illicit hairpiece fall from her hands. He's coming! There's no time to hide. The best I can do is lean up against the wall, where I won't be easily noticed until after someone enters the room. Will wish to see me first, of course. She will be so frightened. She will need my strong arms to lean on. My lord, it is imperative that you remain in your room. Gah! You are not real men. You do not appreciate the power of a destined romance. Or do you wish to take my place as her hero? Is that it? You, who have no spirit, no fire? I know my place, and I will fight for it. You will remain here. Oh, very well. For is it not ever the path of true love beset with obstacles? The guard withdraws, and Prince Gaston turns away from the door, his handsome face marred with a pout. Only then does his gaze fall upon me. Well, what have we here? Enjoy that. Before I can speak, he has closed the gap between us. The scent of him so near is heady, not unpleasant, but dizzying, like brandy wine drunk too fast. His skin is warm, his fingers broad and strong, and I am at his mercy, here where I do not belong. A little songbird caught in my net? Of course, you could not resist my dazzling charms, and who could blame you for that? I was just visiting with your maid, which would sound more believable if I had bothered to learn her name. Ah, I see. Two at once, yes? Wait, what? My beloved Colette has brought a friend to sway my resolve. Now that the play acting is behind us, you are eager to cast restraint aside and sample all the delights you have longed for. No, Monsieur. But no! I must maintain my pure ardor for the delicate flower that is Princess Cassidy. I cannot. Not even for such a wonderful opportunity as sharing the sweet, untutored passion of two young maids like yourselves. Oh my gosh. Although, if you are very good friends, and you wish to have some space to expand your friendship, you are welcome to make use of my bed. I will only observe. But if it was only my own magnetism that drew you into this arrangement, I completely understand. Right. Well, I suppose that's settled then. He releases me, and I gasp in air to clear my head. It certainly doesn't sound like he would wish Cassidy any harm. On the other hand, he's been out of his room. He's talking about play acting, and there is still the matter of the wig. There is some scheme here, even if the details elude me. His mind works in mysterious ways. My lord, I am flattered by your kind attentions, even if not all of our hopes can be granted. But I'm burning with curiosity about you. Are you an actor? I saw that you have wigs. He whirls on the maid with an expression of outrage. Colette, what have you been telling your friend? No, monsieur, I told her nothing. I heard her come in. I thought it was you. I was preparing. She scoops up the fallen wig and holds it out to him. Yes, of course, that wig. Well, this is a trifle embarrassing. You will not tell anyone, will you, pretty songbird? Monsieur, no! She is not my friend. She comes in like a thief. You cannot trust her. Nonsense. I know a woman's heart, and hers is as pure and honest as the rain. She would never betray a man's weakness. You see, I have been devoting myself utterly to the worship of Her Enlightened Highness. Therefore, I needed an object to serve as the focus for my affectionate thinking. My dutiful servant has made the great sacrifice of playing the role of the smitten princess for me, pushing her own feelings aside in order to serve a greater purpose. Colette looks like she's taken a mouthful of sour wine. So he makes her wear a wig and pretend to be Cassidy? That is strange, but not much stranger than his other behaviors. One final question then. Do you have any idea where she is? The princess, I mean. No. But when I find the ruffians who have dared to harm her, I will tear them limb from limb with my bare hands. I should go back. I should continue the search. A man should not let anything stand between him and his true love. No, monsieur. You are distracting the searchers. Yes, if they are looking at me, they will not be looking for her. But I must do more. The maid points her finger at my chest. She will go and search. Yes, of course! You will carry my hopes. He seizes my hands and kisses the air above them. Go, find my beloved. Tell her that I have sent you. Yes, my lord. At last I managed to extricate myself from Bardowin's perfumed jewel box. What a strange man! Strange, loud, and apparently harmless. Such an image could be an act to divert attention, but if so, it was successful enough. I have seen nothing to make me believe that he is involved in Cassidy's disappearance. If not him, then who? Once more, I slip into the hidden halls. There is no sign of the page Dolores, nor any other observers. This does not reassure me. I have been too long gone, with too little accomplished. I must return to Oscar. I wish I had more to tell him. He's done nothing wrong. I know he hasn't. An honest investigation cannot point back to him because he is innocent. Logically, therefore, this mess should not come to roost over our heads. But that doesn't mean it won't. It is my task to defend him in all ways, to guard him from danger, to save him from dishonor, and to present him in the best possible light. Rescuing a lost princess would make him a hero, one that any woman would want as her husband. What greater laurel could I earn for him? That, of course, is if I succeed. If I do not, if this scandal is pinned to his name, I will not fail him. I will find Cassidy. But first I must speak with Oscar, to tell him what little I have learned and see if it sparks any clue. There was again no one on guard in front of our rooms, so it was simple for me to unlock the door and slip back inside. Oscar was not on hand to greet me. He may be resting his sore head, which is worrying in itself. He was knocked unconscious earlier, however briefly. His injury may be worse than it appeared. Of course, he may simply have found some way to distract himself in my absence. I should call out quietly, to give him warning of my approach. Before I can speak, a figure barrels out of the bedroom, and it is not Oscar. Intruder! At once, my daggers are in my hands. The strange man attacks with a powerful overhead strike, a move generally only useful for splitting melons. Even caught off guard, I have more than enough time to brace and catch his stroke on my blades. My angle is not good. My angle is not good enough to push him back more than a few steps, but by that point I can assume a better stance. He comes at me again, testing my reflexes, one move of his longsword towards my eye, and then circling down to slice at my feet, both times easily brushed aside. Then for my middle, and this time I catch the blade again, twisting to hold his sword up and away with the hilt of the dagger in my right hand, while I push in and slash at his hands with the one in my left. He jerks back, clearly fearful of any injury to his hands, and leaves himself open. I pursue, spinning as I move to hide my precise target. With one move, I can drive a dagger backwards and up into his heart. But no, he ran further than I expected, and I catch only the air. I turn my head to find my target behind me and to the side, again making a wild overhead swing. Too late to turn, I dived for the floor and roll to come up facing the correct direction. His sword slices through empty air and into the floor, scarring the wood. He's overbalanced. Driving in my heels, I grab the plush edge of the embroidered rug beneath him and yank. My assailant stumbles, falling back against the heavy marble fireplace while I climb to my feet. Looks like that impact left a bruise, though nowhere near enough to put him out of the fight. He has reach and strength, but not so much skill, I think. Time to take the offensive. I bare my teeth and snarl, then leap forward, tapping his sword at full speed with first one dagger, then the other, getting him used to the pattern of parrying. When the moment comes, I trap his sword between my blades and give it a wrench that would have sent it flying from the hands of an untrained man. This one retains his grip, but for the moment his weapon is neutralized. I force him up against the wall, too close for him to bring a sword to bear, and look up into the eyes of my enemy. It is Prince Caleb? By the blue sky, what do you think you're doing? Testing you. I could have killed you. He smirks at me and casually eases his sword from my control. I don't think so. A prince should have the best tutors and more skill in sword fighting than the clumsy attacks he demonstrated on me. That is true. Of course, he is one of many, a neglected younger son, as he said. Why are you here? I require your aid. You want to get my help by breaking into my room and attacking me. I needed to be sure you would not freeze in a crisis. I need a pair of hands I can rely on, not another burden. For what? He shrugs me aside and takes a few long strides away before turning back to answer over his shoulder. A task that calls for the sort of woman who climbs out of windows and slips locks, and who draws a blade at a moment's notice. You want me to spy for you. And you think you can trust me for that. You don't know me. You must have servants of your own. I need someone with no connections. That means you, Valois of Osendower. You are going to do exactly as I tell you for two reasons. One, because I need your help to rescue my sister. And two, he pulls open the inner door, revealing a factor that I should have considered earlier. Because if you don't, I'll slit your master's throat. Oscar! And thus ends Chapter 1. I'm gonna save here. So that was Chapter 1 of The Royal Trap, going through with the Gaston ending in mind, or the good Gaston ending. There's actually, I think all the allegiances have like a good, a normal, and a bad, and I will probably only be doing the good ones. And that was awesomely, very obviously very exciting, and we met lots of new people, and Gaston and Colette will end up being more relevant later in, I think, Chapter 5 is when we see them again. 5 or 6. So, thank you for watching another Let's Play. This was The Royal Trap by Hanako Games. My name is Anna Mardal, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.